Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Double Cleanse podcast with me, Robert Welsh.
And me, James Walls.
A podcast where we talk about everything. Ships. Spain. Lemons.
Yeah.
Lemons.
Limoncello.
Limoncello. It's mainly a beauty podcast, but hang around. We might talk about, tiles.
We're talking all sorts.
Or things and sorts.
Yeah. So my dogs are going crazy for their breakfast. God, it must be
Oh,
fish
is that
day.
Imagine screaming for your
Every time you have
breakfast. You're frying an egg.
Oh, I
The
had
joys of being a dog.
poached eggs on crumpets the other day. Do you know why it's perfect?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
People in England and people in Australia, and if you can get Marmite in your foreign section in your
Vegemite.
But they're very different.
Hey.
Scrambled egg on toast, but with or any egg with Marmite.
I believe it.
It's beautiful.
I believe it. Listen, if you're going to have a runny yolk in your egg, if you put it on a crumpet, all that yolk runs into the holes of the crumpet. So then when you eat the crumpet, you don't waste a single bit of yolk.
It's like a cream egg.
We're
but with a
talking
real
cooking,
egg and no
eggs, Marmite, Spain, Limoncello. I was literally watching something yesterday. No, the day before. I was on these cooking programs, and I think he was in Spain or somewhere. And you know when people talk with just an English accent, but they pick that one thing to pronounce in an accent. Like he said a million other things. Yeah. Or croissant or restaurant. He just said limoncello like that. I was like, that is craziness. Like it's probably how you pronounce it, but you literally also just said a million other like things from the country. I think he was in Spain without the accent.
Yeah.
Why are you now picking on limoncello?
Where's that? I think it's Italy, isn't it?
What, limoncello? I thought it was Spain.
Let's not even look into that.
You know what? I'm just going to be ignorant and not even care. Sorry, I think I have a little itchy nose. Oh yeah, there is.
What's that? You're that girl mirror.
This is my free mirror from the brand Freshian. It's like a pink mirror, handheld mirror that looks like a little water drop. And it's from a lip balm brand. And yes, I bought the lip balm because it came with a free handheld mirror.
That's the trick. That's how they get
that's
you.
That's how you get them.
That's how people used to buy cereal. Do you remember? Yeah.
Oh my god!
Because I get a free piece of card.
Do you remember those little pogs or whatever they were that came in the Kellogg stuff with the slits in it? You'd slit together.
Yes.
Yeah.
They came in packets of potato chips.
Oh, was it potato chips?
Potato chips. Cereal. Do you remember Space Jam when they used to do those emblems? Look at us talking about the Tudor times when we should be talking about nowadays.
No, listen. Oh no, you go. Go on.
This is a podcast. So James, I'm going to ask you: is there any?
Hang on, sorry, I've had to take you out my ear because I got an itchy ear. Take this out, Marcus, because we're meant to be in the same room. Go again, sorry.
James, is there anything you've been loving this week?
You know what? I actually have something that I think you also love. This is Ilso's Moringa Tightening Pore Serum.
I have it.
I love Ilso because they make that.
Oh, wait. What? Pause everything.
Oh, where are you going? Oh my god, he's running.
I'm running, I've fallen over.
Oh my god. He got up and there was a weird smell the moment he stood up.
I have it, so you can pretend to hand it to me.
Oh, that's a good idea. Here we go. Take a look at it.
Oh, thank you.
So this is Ilso's Moringa Tightening Pore Serum. I actually have no idea what Moringa is, but it's the PHA in here that I really, really like. So I love Ilso because they're like a pore... very much pore-focused brand.
Right?
They do that sebum melting liquid.
Can I how good is, I've never seen, I did it the night before one time. You came around and said, what have you done to your nose? And I was like, Moringa
water serum.
No, one of those pore things. Yeah. They're really, really good. Let me pass you that. Let me have a look.
Let me pass you that, did you say? Oh.
Do that again.
Please. Are you smelling it? You know what it smells. You know what it looks and smells like because you own it.
Yeah, but I just like to. I like to feel things. Here, I'll pass. Here you go.
Cute. Yeah. So I really like these more gentle kind of exfoliants. So like PHA, polyhydroxy acid.
This is an exfoliant.
It's an exfoliating serum that you can use on a daily basis if you're used to exfoliants because Which you're not you're not really used to exfoliants.
It's not an eye cream?
No. Don't drop it in your
eye
mouth.
cream?
But I love these like daily gentle exfoliants versus 2%, 3% AHAs, BHAs, just because it's more gentile on my skin.
And listen, whenever I use like an AHA or a BHA or PHA or PHA, I always get these bits. What are these labial folds? What
do we
in your
call
nose?
them? Nasal labial folds.
Nasal labial folds,
Yeah.
whatever called. They always get sore and dry.
What did you used to call them? Your councils?
No.
I swear you've called them your councils before.
I've never
I
said
swear
that
you
once.
have. I swear in a
In
Welsh
my
Twins video
life.
you call these your councils.
Why would I?
I have no idea.
You'll
I
have
think,
to find
I think you were
out.
just on one and you definitely call them your councils for some reason. No, well, it's like with retinol, right? You avoid
Yeah.
around your eyes, you avoid around the nose area. Anything that could
Oh, is that
sensitize your skin,
right?
you're pretty much meant to avoid because you can get very red and inflamed.
Well, now sure do I feel like an arse.
An arsehole. You know what it is with Ilso as well? The
Free stuff.
packaging. This is
Look at that. you've got-
this is a daily glutathione and mulberry serum, and it comes with there's 2 of them in there, and it comes with a little Esther Bunny toy, and that's
Beautiful.
obviously the reason I bought it. Other than also being an amazing brand for your skin, Robert, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is there anything you've been labbing?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Yeah.
Go on then.
So these are from Fui. Again, I always talk about Fui.
Mhm.
These are their jelly pots. Here, let me pass it to you. That's a different
I think
product.
get away with that.
It's literally jelly and lip jelly in a pot.
Yeah.
But no, we're not talking milk blush jelly, not that hard, horrible
What's a
jelly.
milk blush jet? Milk?
You know
Oh,
the
the
brand,
brand
milk. They
Milk.
did
Sorry,
that,
right.
Yeah, not that was horrible. It's good for a blush because you're rubbing it on your face. This is a really soft, really like bouncy jelly texture, and the shades. Oh, James, have you ever heard of the word beautiful?
No, please tell me more.
Oh, it's when something's really beautiful.
Mm.
So it kind of has like this bouncy texture.
You know what it reminds me of is like an overnight
Go on.
lip mask, just with a little
Yes,
bit
but
more
a little
bounce.
bit thicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just their product. It's just very sheer.
And is it the same as like their like moussey pudding pots? It's a lip and cheek product.
Yes, so it has like a shine. So if you want like a shiny cheek,
Mm.
but they do a highlighter. Oh, if you bought my collab, it comes with a highlighter. Look how special.
Wow.
Very hydrated, very sheer. It's
special.
like a lip tint, but it's not a grippy tint. It's a tint
Mhm.
of color. I mean,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
special.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of the word beautiful?
No, please explain. Yeah. No, I like that. I love Fui. I wish they would do more complexion. I feel like they don't pay attention to complexion as much as they do their lip products. I feel like they could do a lot with complexion.
Well, they have blush, and they have contour sticks,
And then they have that
no, they don't.
one cushion, right? Or like 2, they have 2 cushions.
2 cushions,
like
the
an-
blue one and the cream
Which
one.
is like an eggshell, they call it, or something, which is like a matte,
Yeah.
slightly shiny. They're
But
just nice.
I like it when I think they're more innovative with their other products. I think there's only so much you can go with complexion. Whereas the
True.
things they've done with lips and cheeks
Yeah.
have been really exciting. Very unique, very exciting.
Yes, apparently quite beautiful.
Yes, beautiful.
Listen, should we go to a quick break? Like nothing too serious, just a break, just a quick one.
Let's just have a break. We'll think about it when we come back.
buy yourself a new
We'll take a break.
mattress. We'll take a break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless it's the Emma mattress, I'll always say don't buy those.
Okay.
It's a load of shit, James.
Okay, well, let's see if you get an Emma mattress advert. And we are back.
And we're back. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone.
The
Welcome.
journey you've been on. The journey you've been on.
It must have been a lot for that one journey.
Yeah, sit down, have a mead.
Yeah, sit down Limoncello, and listen to our podcast, The Double Cleanse.
Grab yourself a limoncello.
Listen, speaking of European cities, which are not, we haven't done that. We just took a break. Well, just before this, we took a break, and whenever I take a toilet break, I go on TikTok, and I saw this and I don't know if I feel bad for them or not, right? But it was this American family, and they were saying how they love Europe. Right, everywhere in Europe, from Russia to Spain, and they were like,
Russia's not in Europe.
"Yeah, it is.
Is Russia Europe?
Yes,
No, I feel like they're just doing their own thing.
but it doesn't mean they're not within Europe."
Right.
They probably are just
Limoncello.
doing their own thing. They're in the Eurovision Song Contest and they get booed all the time, remember?
Right,
Right.
yes, you're right,
Um,
yeah.
and they were saying how they were in London recently, this family.
I
Have you
saw
seen
this,
this?
yeah.
And they were saying
Yeah.
how they found the people to be really cold, but more
Yeah.
importantly, like no one smiled at them or like said anything nice to them in public.
Yeah.
Now, I
Right.
just want to tell you something. I think Americans are quite friendly in
Americans are
general,
super friendly.
very super
And,
friendly,
yeah.
especially when it comes to customer service. Like,
And strangers,
as
too.
strangers, I will say in America, you
Yeah.
get what you pay for, especially when it comes to tipping, because, obviously you
Yes.
have to tip in America. And I feel
Yeah.
like you do, the service that you get
You
warrants
get the
a good tip.
service
Yeah.
every time.
Very
time.
good.
Well, of course, you run into
You'll get,
the
yeah.
occasional,
But
shithole. Yeah.
when you are in London, if somebody smiled at me, I would call the police.
I would be concerned.
I'd be like,
I would be
"That
if I got
person?"
onto the underground
Mhm.
and someone smiled at me. I'd be like, "This person's a murderer.
Yeah.
I'm getting the next
Yeah.
one. I'm getting the
If
next."
they start
train."
trying to even just a basic conversation, I'd be like, there is something wrong with this
Inconvenience.
person.
That's an inconvenience.
What do they
yeah.
want from me? It's an inconvenience. And
Yeah.
that's because I feel like
Yeah.
London, as much as, people are obviously born and raised in London, people are commuting to work. People are going here, there, and everywhere. There is no reason for them to smile at you.
And let's be real, living in London, you're paying too much rent. Your lunch that day is going to be that pasta you had last night
Yeah.
that you have to reheat,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Maybe your train line's down. Maybe you had to get a replacement bus service. It's one of the most stressful places we've lived.
Yeah.
And sometimes a very nice place to live.
Yeah.
You have nice experiences
it's
too.
lovely.
But a lot of people are going somewhere. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're getting from A to Z. They're not going to stop and smile at you for any reason.
Or even just say good morning. It's weird when someone says good morning to you in
No.
London, and you probably will be greeted with like a confused blank face.
Confused.
Like it gets to the
yeah.
point, like 8 years of living in London, where you'd be on the underground and people would bash into you and you'd bash into them. That's like
Yeah.
that's just you just trying to get from A to B.
And
Like
that-
it doesn't
that's-
matter.
That's it. Knock someone out of the way.
Knock someone out of the way.
That's
It's
what you've
fine,
agreed
'cause
to.
you'll do. Yeah. There's a non-verbal agreement there, that you're just trying to
Yeah.
get on with the day, kind of thing. It's not.
You know what? I even found as well, even when you would like go to like a coffee shop and get like coffee, right? Like a bigger chain. You would try I remember starting off being quite like friendly and all that kind of stuff, but then it got very much to a point. It's like you go in, hi, what can I get for you? Can I have this, please? Yeah, that's great. Wait,
I
over
feel like
there.
it's just part of the commute.
No conversation.
Yeah.
It's just part of a commute.
Yeah.
And I think people know that. There's like an unwritten contract.
Mhm.
However, I feel like if these Americans had gone to a northern city, I think it would have been a different story.
Yes.
I think it's very different. And even outside of London, in parts of the south in the UK, Cornwall, for example.
very
places like that,
friendly.
you would have had a lovely, friendly experience.
Yeah.
But London is, I think a lot of Americans and a lot of people worldwide have this vision of English people. Hello, good morning, governor. Would you like to come with me? Yeah, would you bloody like to come here? And that's not how. It's definitely what everyone thinks of. That's not how it is.
No, it's not at
very,
all.
It's very
Yeah.
cutthroat, especially in London.
Yeah. I was just in Edinburgh, in Scotland.
Yeah.
And one thing I've noticed, especially when you leave outside of London, is a lot of people are very proud of where they live and they know everything about where
Yes.
they live. Whereas in
Yeah,
London, I think
yeah.
it's very rare to come across somebody who was born and raised in London.
Born and raised.
A lot of people
Yeah,
have moved
yeah.
there or they're commuting through. And like
Yeah.
8 years living in London, I cannot tell you where the fuck anything is. I know where like
Oh, I know.
Big Ben is and the Coca-Cola Millennium Eye, or whatever it's called nowadays, the O2
Coca-Cola
Eye.
Millennium
Millennium Eye
yeah.
next to Shrek's Adventure.
Shrek's Eye Adventure.
Eye Adventure. I can tell you where that is. But if you're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like when like our friends come over from America and they're like, oh, do you have any restaurant recommendations? I'm like, no, whatever's on Deliveroo, because we
Pizza Express.
Pizza Express, yeah. There's a couple of them. The royal family love Pizza Express.
Do they?
No, that paedophile one.
Oh.
What was I going to say? But, well, that threw us off. I felt bad for them though.
Well
because-
done, Prince Andrew.
Well done, Prince Andrew. I feel like a lot of people come to London because they think it is that, and they want to see like the what's the word?
Chimney sweeps. stepping
Chimney
in time.
sweeps. Yeah, stepping in time.
Yeah,
The
nannies
the
flying around the
London
sky on
parade.
umbrellas.
Yeah, all these kind of things
Yeah.
that like just just don't happen. It's like a
What's the
very,
London
I don't know, I
Parade?
just made it up because I didn't know what I was saying.
Oh, yeah.
Come and see the London Parade.
I think a lot of people worldwide, actually maybe not in Europe, but other places have the wrong idea of English people in London. You know what I mean?
French people know
It's
exactly
like
who we are.
French people know exactly.
French
who we
people
are,
have
yeah.
us figured out, I'm
And
afraid.
Spanish people,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm sorry, behalf of Spain for you being our retirement country. You know, we just can't stop
Yeah.
living in other people's places and complaining when people do it to us.
Yeah.
But it is, I feel like people get the wrong ideas. So that poor family that were probably expecting people to be like, "Morning, governor," you know, and
Yeah.
"Ma'am,
Yeah.
come here, can I make you a cup of tea?"
Yeah.
They just didn't get that experience.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time as well, walking around London, you can't tell who's English and who's
No, you
from
don't
London.
know. You can't.
You don't,
Unless
you
it's an
don't even
American
know.
talking, then you can. But then
Unless it's
also,
an American
the
talking.
thing is, when you're in London, if you hear an American accent, you hear an Australian accent, you hear a foreign language, your first reaction isn't they're on holiday, because
No,
it's such a
they live
mix of
here.
you just
Yeah.
presume everybody lives there.
Yeah. So you're not going to be like, "Welcome to London."
You should check
And everyone
out
starts
this.
waving,
Yeah,
yeah.
the London
One thing
Parade.
though, yeah, the London
Mm.
check out the 2 p.m. London Parade where London happens. But I feel like, for example, when you're on like holiday in the US, people are very, very friendly. You could be on your own dinner table talking to your friends
Mhm.
about something, and someone from another table can turn around and be like, "Oh, that was great, wasn't it?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, it was great." And it's like, "Oh, okay."
I don't
But,
like it.
Very.
I hate
No,
it,
I
but
don't
it's
like
okay.
it, but it's just,
Yeah.
it's just how it happens. It's a
alright.
different country.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very friendly. And I think that's why some people are like, "Oh my God, Americans are so loud." They're not. They're just, what's the term?
Communal,
Friendly.
community-based.
Friendlier, communal. Whereas England, we have this very like stiff upper lip, you know, what's the phrase? Very good at not being
Scene.
a community,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
you could say.
like just getting
you know what I
you're
mean?
doing your own thing.
Just getting it done, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in the US, you have that a higher expectation
Mm.
of service, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of, I guess, friendliness.
Yeah, yeah. I felt a bit sorry for them because I was like, oh, like you London and like everyone's like rude to you. And it's
Yeah.
horrible to say, but they weren't just rude to you, they're rude to everyone and everyone's rude to each other. So it
Everyone.
kind of cancels out that it's
Everyone.
rude because it's just the way things
Yeah,
are.
that's it. That's the way. And is it ideal to be rude to people? Absolutely not.
Oh.
But when you're trying to get to work at 8 a.m. and your commute is 45 minutes to an hour of a
Yeah.
hot train, even if it's in the middle of winter.
And you have to go
you know,
through
and-
these tourist destinations like Buckingham Palace, which are just everyday things to
Right.
some people. It can be stressful.
Right. It can be stressful. Okay, well, listen, we've been talking about that horrible family.
For far too
expecting
long.
people to smile at them and hug their
Should
children.
we all just smile at each other for 5 minutes? Just to
Let's
kind of
smile at
like...
each other for 5 minutes. Listen, so a slightly outdated situation, but I think it's a good point to talk about.
Well, it's
right?
current when we're recording this, but we feel like it'll still
Sure.
be relevant in a couple of months.
I mean, it's still relevant. The prices off makeup, right? So we all know Patrick Tar, who is, in my eyes, a higher end, more luxury brand, released
I
these
always thought
eyeshadows,
this,
right?
yeah.
Right. They released these eyeshadows that were 2 eyeshadows, a duo in a little compact, and they were intensely pigmented and crystal, and they were made a special way, and they were $42 each for 2 eyeshadows, right? The explanation behind this was that they were made in a way that warrants that price point, and the payoff you get is incredible. Do I think the payoff was incredible? I don't, James. No, I don't. I think they were kind of dusty crusty. And every single one I've tried my ones. I tried someone in a shop. I won't say who it was because they don't sell it, but they were just showing them to me. I swatched them. Completely different texture to the ones I had.
Oh, really?
Same shades, different texture. And then where else have I tried? Somewhere else, completely different texture again. So I'm like, what is going on? Anyway, the price point off makeup. We have this climate, right, where we have really amazing independent brands or more affordable brands that are making a similar product or a similar finish. Can we still excuse brands for making really, really expensive products when you can literally just get the same color payoff, the same result from a more affordable brand? Go, have the answer right now.
Oh Christ. I think there's 2 ways to look at this, right? There's the first thing that is like, if you can't afford it, just ignore it and don't worry about it, right? There's that kind of thing. But then there's also like the point of, why are they doing that? Like, they're trying to,
Yeah.
like, pull the wool over my eyes or whatever the saying is like, because maybe you love the brand and you do want to purchase, like, their next thing, or maybe it's the one, like, little nice thing you're going to buy yourself a year, but even maybe 40 quid for
Right.
2 things is a little bit too much still.
Right.
I'm more on the
Exactly.
side of, like, if I can't afford it, I'm just going to ignore it. There's so many different things you have to consider because obviously there's a markup here as well, right? And I know there's a
Yeah.
few skincare brands that are very expensive. They are still classed as, I guess you'd call them, like, independent brands. They
Uh-huh.
don't market themselves as luxury, but the markup is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's always one thing I wonder as well, because sure, so Patrick Tar is making these. What they do, make it the fucking hand making them in a bowl in.
Worms spit them out, and then they're blessed by a Jesus. No, but I think it's just like this.
I believed you for like a split second then.
Blessed by a Jesus. They're made a certain way, a certain production method. I think it's like baking, like that slurry situation. But
Okay.
a lot of brands do that, a baked product. But here's
Yeah.
I don't care what the process is.
I was
I don't
about
give
to
a
say,
fuck.
I don't think I care at
If
all.
I'm getting the same result, I think I said it in a video about them. If I have two steaks and they're made completely different, one of them is made on a gold, how do you cook a steak? Frying pan, and the other one is just made on a barbecue. I
Yeah.
don't care if they're gonna taste the same when I have them. I don't care how it was made,
Yeah.
if it makes the other one cheaper.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like when
Yeah.
I was using these eyeshadows, a brand like Blend Bunny, who full disclosure I have a whole collection with, but the reason I do is because I love their formula. Their payoff was so much better, and a whole
Mm,
palette is like $30 with for
mhm.
30 colors, and you're gonna
Instead
try
of
and sell me
two.
two for
Mm,
40 when they give the exact same result. I can pop them on my eyes and you wouldn't see a difference. And by the way,
yeah.
let me just say this before we go into, there's nothing wrong with wanting to buy expensive products if that's your deal.
Spend your money
But
however the hell you want.
yeah, but what? But I just don't understand how you're going to try and explain away your price point when the payoff is actually still quite like well, it's not shit
Bad.
because it was nice, but it's not as good as your price point would suggest. If it was breathtakingly new and something different, then I'd be like, "Ooh," I would
Yeah.
pay thousands. No, I wouldn't pay that's going over the top. But you know what I mean? But it was just like, oh, it's a sparkly eyeshadow.
I will say I know nothing about makeup, and from what I've seen, like you say, like it's all about the payoff at the end. And I don't look at it now and I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my god, like that looks like so good, like so good. Like I would pay a premium
Right.
for that. Not at all. But there are things you
Yeah.
have to consider, like the technique made to create them.
Yeah.
There's this saying, like, you can give, for example, like an amateur chef the ingredients for a cake, give Gordon Ramsay the ingredients for a cake with the
Right.
same ingredients, but they're going to take those
Right.
ingredients with the tools they have, the experience, and create two very different things, right?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't
Yeah.
pay a premium for Gordon Ramsay's versus some DIY kitchen, like Kitchener, what they call chef,
Kitch-
for Kitchener,
Kitchener. Yeah.
Kitchener chef. But like you
Kitchen's
say,
fine.
you're also paying for the outcome of that. So if Gordon Ramsay's
Right.
cake is going to look like, Steve's from the back kitchen's cake, what's the point in paying that premium? Are they
And
just
if it's
now
gonna
relying on
taste the
their name?
same,
Are they relying on some
right,
packaging? Like what's the
right.
point,
And I feel like you don't have to do that anymore. It's like Dior and their shit. I always say their
No.
shitty eyeshadows. Dior, come on. Your packaging looks like it's from eBay, from some illegal brand from eBay, and you're still
'Cause
charging
they've
this
not
high
updated
price
themselves.
for your yeah, for your basic eyeshadow.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a rip-off. Listen, I enjoy Patrick Tar products. I have all their eyeshadow palettes and all their blush palettes, and I've personally never had a bad experience with them. But people were finding like mold and stuff in these previous products. And there was
No.
also a video online where one of these eyeshadows actually just fell out of a packaging, which does happen. It does
I mean,
happen,
it
but it shouldn't
happens, but
happen
not when
if
you're
you're paying
paying
a
a
lot of right.
premium.
And
That
that
should be
can
so.
happen in
Hang
like
on.
transit. Something just fell on James. Oh, a book.
I have something which is called a book.
Don't bring books into this. You're making it all woke.
I'm pretty sure in this book there is a breakdown of what you're paying for. Okay, here we go. So this is Dr. Michelle Wong, otherwise known as Lab Muffin Beauty Science. And this is the book, The Science of Beauty, where she
Yes.
debunks certain things. And basically what we're looking at is a diagram of a serum bottle with like different colors at different levels. And each level, it's kind of like a graph, shows you what you're paying for. So more than half of roughly what you're paying for is retailer markup.
Right. Mm-hmm. They
Then
take a big cut.
then brand profit is quite small, and then like staff cost is quite small as well. Then slightly bigger is brand and marketing, shipping and handling, and research and development.
Mm.
it being one of the smaller, actually the smallest thing you're paying for.
Oh,
So cost of goods and research and development are the tiniest
is a
amount that you're
very
paying
small.
for. And
Hmm.
half of what you're paying for is retailer markup. And this, this is like average. It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Of course.
it always makes me wonder, like, how much did they, with all these special practices or techniques, and whoever the chemist may be, like,
Yeah. How much
how
did they?
greedy are they being with the markup?
This is a thing, and I feel like again, a luxury brand can be like, we do sell at that higher price point, and there are people out there who want that high, are happy to spend that,
Mm.
again. But if it's something that's not, what's the word? Completely like innovative or like mind-blowingly different, then what's the point?
What's the point? What's the
You
point?
know what
Do you know what I've
you know
also
what I mean?
noticed as well? Yeah, I do know it. There, like the last few years, we've had like brands announcing on their Instagram that, like, our products are going up because of cost of inflation, and I get
Right.
that,
Mm-hmm.
fine, right?
Get
For
it.
example, I
Mm-hmm.
think it was the Inky list, and their products maybe went up by like 50p to a pound, kind of thing,
Yeah.
which is reasonable. I was looking at CeraVe the other day. You know how I feel about CeraVe.
CeraVe.
CeraVe. But in the last 2 years, some of their products have gone up by 50%.
No,
But do you know
that's
what they
almost half.
that's almost half. But they are now also owned by Estee Lauder, right?
Who
Or
is?
is it L'Oreal? CeraVe?
Oh, isn't it Ordinary Estee Lauder?
L'Oreal, sorry, owns CeraVe, yeah. So the thing is with these huge conglomerates like Estee Lauder and L'Oreal is they can usually afford to keep things a bit cheaper because
Yeah,
they have
because
the money
they make
behind
more.
them.
Yeah,
They make more, right? And they turn this really easy, accessible drugstore brand
yeah,
into something like actually kind of like mid-level and quite unattainable for a
yeah,
load of people
yeah,
now. And it kind
yeah,
of went under the radar because they didn't do this announcement like everybody else does, kind of thing.
yeah.
And I'm
Like, you'll
like,
notice our products go up. Sorry, but we have to do it.
yeah,
Kind
which
of
you get it,
deal. Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
like it's not by a couple pound, it's 50% for like a fair few of their
That's a
most popular.
lot.
A
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot. So then I wonder, like, what's that for? They've
Whom
made a huge
knows?
amount. They've been so popular in the
Whom
last
knows?
4 years. Like,
Yeah.
why is that going up now? Whom but knows? And it makes me think now is like it's not just like cosmetics anymore. It kind of makes it feel like merch or like what's the word? It goes from something being like a cream that people need to heal their skin, to like a fun item that you see on TikTok that
Yeah.
loads of people want. It's kind of like a
Hmm.
gift, or it's kind of like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Um.
they're kind of marketing it like because you would pay a premium for these really fucking basic products now because they are popular. They kind of become like a
Yeah, I know what you mean,
yeah,
but I don't know the
I
word
don't think
for
there
it.
is a
I
word
don't
for
know if
it.
there is a word for it. Yeah,
They become like this
like
must-have item rather than
like like a creme de la mer, the cream or
yeah,
whatever it's
yeah,
called.
yeah,
What
yeah,
how they
yeah.
name their
I don't know,
products?
fucking
What's the cream that they have?
seaweed
Their main
cream.
cream. Everyone knows creme de la
Yeah,
mer's
ghost cream.
main cream. It's called like the face
Yeah,
cream or something. Because what else could you name a product
yeah.
other
Other
than
than
the face
crumb,
cream?
but I just find it
Creme.
weird. I feel like that's why, and I hope K beauty stays like that because a lot of people think
Yeah, don't let
it
anyone
is
buy that.
relatively affordable, and the most you're paying for here now is like shipping.
Shipping. Shipping.
But there are, UK-based K beauty places, but then they also put up the prices because they've had to ship it, so it's all
Yeah.
kind of involved. So you may as well just get it from like Yes Style, Olive Young Style, Korean. There are other retailers available. But yeah, it just feels like things are getting more expensive, and I feel like that's because of TikTok.
Checks.
Or like social media in general. Anything that goes, they become like this the must-have toy on a kid's Christmas list kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like that
Oh,
one thing, like
yeah.
fucking Tickle Me Elmo,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like all year round and in
Yeah,
cosmetic form. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I do. I do know what you mean. It's troubling.
It's troubling. Is there something though that you would actually pay a lot of money for, makeup wise?
If somebody could invent it has to answer problems or fix problems, right? So if somebody was to make a foundation or a primer or concealer for oily skin that genuinely never got greasy or you never had to
Mm,
touch up, because even the best you still have to do a little bit of a touch up, like a little bit of powder here and there. Even the ones that last a long time you might have to powder once or twice out the day. But if somebody invented something that genuinely did not move, then
mm,
then I would pay a premium for that. But that's
yeah,
just how our skin works, unfortunately. So
yeah. If they invented a mineral sunscreen that genuinely had no white cast,
yeah.
that came in a big pump bottle,
Mm.
at like 50 quid to 100,
Yeah.
because sunscreen is expensive anyway,
Yeah.
I would invest in that.
Yeah.
100%.
That's an investment in your future too.
Is there anything you think people are overpaying for right now? Like, what are, you can name brands and products, like anything that you're like, why are people spending that much money on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of foundations I think people are overpaying for. Like, like, oh my God, I actually really like Dior's foundation, so I can't say that.
But do you think it's over? You might like it, but do you think it's
No.
overpriced though for what it is?
No, I don't, because I think once you find the right thing for you, and it might not be everyone else's favorites, but with foundations specifically, when you find the right foundation for you, that's your foundation. You know what I mean? That's your foundation.
Mm,
Like people would Estee Lauder Double Wear, for example, the price point for that goes up and up, but people always go back to it. When you know it works for you, it's okay to pay that premium because you know it's going to work. You know what I mean? Unless they take it too far.
so what you're saying is that you are happy to pay money for the fact that you just really like a product, whether you think it's actually worth the money or not.
If it really works for me, then it's worth my money.
So it doesn't have to be like crafted by some like top chemist. It doesn't have to be a branded name. As long as it's a product that you love and works for you.
You know, like a foundation like L'Oreal True Match, which is a drugstore foundation. If they kept putting up a price for that, I would still buy it because it's a really, really nice foundation and it works for so many people. What do I think people overpay? I actually can't think of anything that I think is severely overpriced in the makeup thing that doesn't come from a luxury brand or like encompasses what all brands are doing. Maybe eyeshadow palettes. I think in comparison to what we used to pay for them, when a brand would launch like a limited collection pack thingy, right? The palette would be plastic. Or it would be like a metal and it would come with a mirror inside and it would be this whole thing. Now, brands can get away with giving you a cardboard palette for that same price point. So I think we're paying for good products, but less than what we used to get. You used to get a collector's piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get that.
Like I look at like when MAC, for example, did that Hello Kitty collection and the palettes were metal and some were plastic and all this stuff. And now it would come in card. You know what I mean? It'll be a card.
You know what the difference I think
palette.
between that though is like back in the day, like people would hold on to that plastic MAC
and now they go from one thing to another.
And now they go from one thing to the other. So nowadays a collectible item is overshadowed within like a week. So like that cardboard palette is probably going to get recycled rather than it being a plastic palette. So there is that, but like that's just the climate.
It's the climate. It's the climate. People aren't smiling at each other. People don't smile at each other.
I just think that's so I actually think that's crazy to expect that wherever you go.
Do.
Like you don't go to a new city and just expect everyone to be smiling at you. Especially a city. No, maybe if you're in the, I don't know, outer Hebrides of Spain or wherever.
Like I wouldn't go to like New York and be like, well, no one smiled at me today. You know what I mean?
No, that's exactly what I expect. But then also, imagine you go to a small village outside in the country and everyone's smiling at you. You'd be like, I need to get out there. I need to leave.
This is a cult. Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think then a brand charging like a premium for a product that shouldn't be is necessarily a red flag for that brand? Looking at how much things cost for them to make that product, do you think it's a no-go, like that brand's using me?
That's tough because I feel like there's a lot of competition and I feel like they are probably, if you're looking at it from like a business perspective, because nobody wants to charge too much that you're not going to invest in their products ever again. So part of me looks at it as like they're doing this competitively because there must be other things on the market that they think is similar to what they're producing. So they're now pricing it at that level kind of thing. I think if I were to find out how crazy the profit margins were, like if someone gave me a spreadsheet, do you know what this reminded me of when I worked in Top Man? And do you remember when those chinos, what they called? Carrot crotch chinos?
Awful.
Something?
The ones that were like really tight around the leg.
The
crotch started at the knee and went up.
Yeah, they sold for £40, right? And a merchandiser accidentally left their merchandising list on the floor, and I looked at it. They were created for £5. They cost £5 to make. Yeah, so a huge markup, right? I'm sure there's other business markups in there.
So ugly.
But they were so ugly. And from that day, I never bought another pair. Because I was like, I'm not paying that kind of thing. So maybe if I saw the exact costs that went into something, it would be a lot more helpful for me to be like, okay, I kind of get that. Like, I understand. Or no, that's a crazy market. They're just trying to make money. But honestly, for me, like, I have my limits anyway. Like, I'm not going to pay over
Yeah.
£50 for a serum, for example. I'm not going to pay over
Yeah.
30 maximum for a cleanser. And that's not because that's in line with how much money I make. It's because it's in line with how much people are charging for stuff nowadays.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
can obviously get amazing products for less than that. But, you know, they're my absolute maximums. But, yeah. I think there are other bigger red flags for me at this current moment in time.
Same. I think like advertising is a red flag. The owners
Mm.
of the brands can be red flags. Things like that.
Yeah.
Price point is like, oh, it's pricey. It's not for me.
It's not for
but
me.
I wouldn't be like, I would
yeah.
never look at the brand again.
Yeah, I'd just be like, well, that's kind of
Yeah.
stupid. I'm not paying that. Then I'd move on.
That's insania.
Yeah. I don't think the drama surrounding the the conversations that I've seen surrounding them are that worthy of the attention, bearing in mind there are a lot of crap products that are expensive nowadays. It's not a one-off.
That's what I mean. These high-end brands, a lot of people do it. I think it was a lot of show, and I think a lot of it was due to the past history with the brand. Well, as always, let us know your opinions in wherever you are. Just shout them into your house.
Just
and we'll hear
scream them into the void. If you go into one corner of your room and scream, we'll hear you.
We'll hear you. We're always there in the corner of your house anyway.
Just looking out for you.
Well,
yeah.
Thanks for joining us again. Review, subscribe, rate, whatever platform you're on. Do whatever matters. You know what I mean?
Do whatever
We'll
you
see you
feel
soon.
in your hat. I'll see you soon. We're off to have limoncello. Yeah. Bye.